No next week for the losers. Desperation. You'd expect early in this game. Lee fights hard. But Norwood, it was Cook.
You see there, Poppy, with Peter Rowe on the screen. Fairly important. I mean, they've had a very good season. Losing, I think, David, was it 3 or 4 games for the year. All of a sudden, today is the elimination. They have to win this to play next week's grand final.
Bounce down. Coffey gets 2 touches. Again, the red leg through Jarman. You'd expect a better game. He doesn't normally play 2 bad ones in a row. A long kick, 1-on-1. Herrera worked his opponent out in West, but then dropped what he maybe should have taken, but the ball has been held in again inside the 50-metre zone for the Redlegs.
It's important to play like Jimmy West down. He's down on form last week. Has missed a bit of football. Not a great deal, but just through suspension, but he's back. The leading goal kicker this year needs to fire up.
3 goals, 3 Jim West from limited opportunities last week, Mark. You weren't happy with his form?
Oh, it just concerns me at the moment. I mean, he has to be fed by the midfield. At the moment, we've got Gary McIntosh heavily bandaged, John Cunningham heavily bandaged. So there really are some signs there at the moment. Norwood really aren't playing at full strength.
The Redlegs have won 2 and lost 1 against the Bulldogs this year. The Bulldogs got them in round 20 by 7 points. As the Bulldog defence trying to work it out, Sujai Cook flicks it forward. Eastdale in space, comes inside 50, feeds off to Cunningham. A long handball to Tyson. He'll need to get clear of traffic. Feeds it off, good support. Cunningham kicked 2 last week. Oh, he's opened well today. He's a bottle, this kid, and he's got his first. What a miraculous comeback. And the Redlegs take the lead.
Great support shown here by the Redlegs. You see there, Cunningham over the top. Tyson had to wait for it. Dodged and weaved 2 players, gave it back to the player who gave it to him in John Cunningham. And that might just be enough for Cunningham really to set himself alight today. He needs a little bit of confidence. As you can see there on the screen, that left leg of his, very heavily bandaged. One player before also, at a left out, fellas, was Todd Davey coming back. His left knee also is strapped.
Eastor against Coffey. All-important centre square break. Neither player get hands to the ball. Jarman touched it but couldn't grab a clean take. Cook, nice hands. Tyson from 60 metres. 1-on-1 duel. Malloy was interfered with. Play on to the call. Schwert first there. Under pressure. He's got time. No. Turns in a threepenny bit but finds a teammate up the ground, and it's Scotty Lee. Good work by Scotty Lee. Good work by Schwert under pressure.
Good work by Schwert. Just knew that he had to hang on to the football. Couldn't get rid of it. Came back towards the boundary side. And that's a good lesson from anybody sitting at home, is that when you're in that sort of trouble, always head for the boundary line.
Stuart Dew, one of the sensations of SANFL football, goes across the ground to Coffey, who found space. Saywell. They'll need his pace and endeavour today, the Bulldogs. He again looks for a leading player and finds him too. It's Hicks. Mark's been paid, and Hicks last week, Dave Mackay, was very, very good.
Book rolls 1, he led the charge for the Bulldogs. He's been important for them all year. Off it goes to Saywell. They're just using the ball pretty well, and they're playing the corridor, the Bulldogs, which in their slump of 4 losses in a row, they were playing wide like they did then. I'm sure that's not the instruction that Steve Wright's looking for. McGowan marks, feeds off to Steinburner, who was electric last week. A long bomb towards full forward, lures, jostles. Big fly over the top was Esau, thumping it down. Now this sets up the runners. They're just coming at all angles. Tyson feeds it off to Harvey, who pushes it wider to Malloy. Coming a long way from full forward, he pushes it into the path of West. One bounce just a little short, that one. Great work defensively, Geister. West pushes it forward. Daniel pushes it across the face of goal. Coffey steady under fire. And look at this, Steinburner again, a one-handed attempt just inside the line. Just had a dose of the fumbles. We don't often see him fumble. Has the presence to have a bounce, uses his pace to great effect, and spears it to Schwert at half-back.
Good work, Schwert. Looking for a runner. He has one in Holm. They look better when they go direct, don't they? Holm does just that, the leading player on the end. Good work. Big Conway. Very quiet last week. From memory, didn't get a touch until the last quarter.
Did kick a goal.
And Conway now from outside 50, I'd suggest, probably beyond his distance.
Just watch Lewis and Bowman behind play. There's no love lost between those two. There'll be fireworks before the end of the game, no doubt about that.
So Conway concentrating, big play for the Bulldogs. From outside 50, only just, the kick has fallen well short, and it's all the Redlegs. Too easy, you'd suggest. as the easiest of marks was taken, Mark Nally, by Lachlan Bowman.
It wasn't a very good kick there by the big fella. Just fell short.
The breeze, Mark, might be a little stronger than we anticipate, perhaps.
It is blowing across the face of the ground, but just feel at the moment that Norwood would be advantaged by just marginally.
Todd Davey also had a knee operation early in the year, recovered beautifully. Back in the scenes after 4 great performances in the reserves. McIntosh on Gurney, the two skippers collide. Scotty Lee flips out the handball. Saywell claimed by Joe, and Dantokia gets the loose scrum. A hurried kick. It's a high ball towards half forward. Cunningham went hard at it, but misjudged it. Over the back, it's Schwert, who's looming as Central's best player in these opening 12 or so minutes. Hereda fumbles, pushes it towards the boundary line. Safety first.
Well, once again, Stephen Schwert wasn't quite sure which way he wanted to go. Maybe not the best option to kick across the face, but he did have players out here on the grandstand wing. 5
possessions for Schwert, Rob, in the opening 12 minutes.
Good start by Schwert, one of the most experienced players in the Bulldogs lineup. The throw in, Downsborough against Coffey. Again, the Bulldogs work it out. They've been good in the 50-50 balls. Now the long searching handball has found Holm as he kept the ball in. He has. Takes on and gets around a Norwood opponent. Now they start to go long. Cotton. Important, he kicks a few today. Centres the ball up. Schwert is at touch number 6. No, fumbles it under pressure. Then Tokia goes searching, looking for Ox. The ball wasn't a good one. Girdham under pressure. Appears to be carrying an injury. Got out of trouble that time. Cotton to the centre square. Again, Norwood in front.
Again, a fair bit of pressure there been applied by the Redlegs. Realising the moment they've got a 6-point margin. They really want to go in at quarter time.
East all fired up today. Reaches for that one. Completes a successful grab. And puts a long bomb out in the direction of Downsborough. And Coffey's got the job on Downsborough today. He'll match him athletically. It's certainly in the air. It's a good match. Now Schwert. In the midfield. Looks for a lead. Well, there's very little movement. Lures comes at him. This is great work. Scotty Lee provides an option, but slipped at the crucial stage. McIntosh steals it away. Puts in a long handball to Sujai Cook. Feeds off to Jarman cleverly. Oh, look at this. It's working for the Redlegs. West almost marks it, but Hereda, with strong body contact, just bustled him out of the contest. Steinburner working hard deep in defence. Pushes it long and low. Great kick. McGowan and Harvey, what a battle that will be. And towards Lures at half forward. Bowman just pushes it forward. Harvey again, now Davey. Look at the work rate. It's frantic out there, and the FAD was paid. Well, the advantage is not allowed, rather, as umpire Kevin Chambers brings it back to Todd Davey.
David, exciting player for the Redleg side. As Mark Nally pointed out, with that left knee heavily bandaged, goes towards the outer side. The leading player, Downsborough, taken under the ball. Good work as Coffey again plays the sweeper. A kick behind play for the Bulldog side. A long kick, more height than distance. Davey underneath dropped what he maybe should have taken. Now Harvey cleans up. Obbs with pace. He's found some space. He runs to within 70. The kick falls short. Malloy first there. Good work now by Hall. Looks upfield. Hasn't got a player in space, so kicks to space. Dantokia first there. Read the play and then takes the ball to the boundary. Good work by one of the SANFL's most experienced players.
Jerry Dantokia, at 30 years of age, he's been around the Norwood club for a while, and he wouldn't want anything more than seeing the Redlegs win the 1997 flag.
Here's Jerry again. Holds his line pretty well. Girdham bustles him away as he dispatches the kick forward. West got a poor bounce, but goes back and recovers. A good second effort by the big fella. Geister, his direct opponent, on the left boot, chips it short. Steinburner working hard in the back half of the field. Spears it out, a long one to Sable, covering both sides of the oval. Dantokia tries to slow him down, but he chips it over the top to Jew, who can take off. Does so. McIntosh tries to run him down. Young legs versus the old, and the youngsters got the good ones. And what a kick it was to Conway, who led, I'd suggest, Mark, to the wrong area.
Just looking at where he is at the moment. He's hard up against the boundary line. Not much daylight between the big two white six there.
This, I'll tell you, is an impossible kick. The breeze is blowing from right to left as we follow the kick. Now, he'll need to take a lot of the right post and keep it low. Oh, and look at it. Look at it. Well, it's not impossible. Now, they're the sorts of things that are team lifters. That is an amazing goal from that pocket.
Exactly right there, David. Those sort of goals are team lifters. We see Saywell just chips the ball over the top to Stewie Dew, who's had a fair bit of the football in this first quarter. A great kick and a good mark there by Conway. But what about the kick here, fellas? Tight in that pocket. Threaded it through.
Sensational kick. I would have agreed with Dave Mackay, once known as Graham Campbell's dead pocket. Not many kick from there, but Conway early proving a handful. The score's locked away at 2 goals apiece. The bounce down. Eastaugh gets a hand down. Who'll be first there? It's going to be Tyson. Has it taken away by a Norwood teammate. Now Hall. He's busy in the tough clenches. A quick kick forward. Saywell front position. Cotton, quick hands. Open it up for Lewis. Lewis. Is it goal number 2 within 2 minutes? It is. Good work, Simon Lewis. His first goal. And Central Districts regain the lead through quick and clever handballs, Mark Noley, by Jared Cotton.
You see, great work, good hands by Cotton across the Lewis. But really happened, fellas, back in the middle of the ground where we saw Cunningham really release the football to nobody and no advantage. Quickly, Daniel Holm got onto it and kicked the ball up forward to Cotton. Then good hands to Lewis. Lewis ran his good 15 metres and kicked the goal. His first for the afternoon.
3 goals to the Bulldogs, 2 to the Redlegs. We're 18.5 minutes into the first term of the preliminary final. Cunningham with a long bomb into the forward line. Malloy goes after it. Oh, great tackle on Daniel, brings him to ground and holds the ball in the forward zone. What a remarkable tackle. Wrapped him up, Mark. He had nowhere to
tackle.
go.
Exceptional tackle.
At the bounce. 6 points the margin in favour of the Bulldogs, but it's in the red leg forward zone as Downsborough flicks it out to James. He's claimed by Stoneburner. That's a great tackle. Cook flicks it out further afield. Oh, Scott Lee, great courage. Pushed it out to the runner in Cook, who can take off and set up a Bulldog charge. Stoneburner with strength. Still gets away the handball. Clever work, Schwert. Off it goes to Holm. A long one straight down the middle. That's the way they're going to win today if they're going to win. Now Saywell stripped of the ball by Dantokia. Fleming cleverly back to Dantokia. What a combination that was. Through the midfield it goes, and look at this. Cunningham looming already as the Redlegs' best. Spears it in long and low. West was the target. A body on Geister. And across the line it goes, and Stevie Wright feels the pressure.
Well, he does too, but he impressed Mark Nally with the way the Central District side has responded to Norwood's probably second 5 minutes of this first quarter. Ball to be thrown back in. The Bulldogs get hands down. Coffey works hard, as does Cook, and holds the ball just 30 metres out from the Redlegs' goals. 20 minutes gone of this first quarter. It's Central's by 6 points. Preliminary final. Playing for the right to be part of the 97 grand final. Port Adelaide already there. The ball bounced down. Parada shepherds the ball to the advantage of a teammate. Can Cook keep the ball in? He can't. And so there'll be a boundary throw in 20 metres in from Redlegs' goals.
I think that was quite premeditated. Very clever work. He couldn't make it look like it was deliberate, but pretended to hold the ball in, then just carried it straight across the line and faded a handball. Great presence of mind by Cook as Ops comes crashing through with hardly sight at him. Gurdon over the top, and Sujai Cook 44 for the Redlegs. So Cunningham, 4 kicks, 3 handballs, and a goal. Has opened beautifully, number 16 in the front of your screen. Cook picks him up. Scotty Lee thumps that one towards the line. I think he'll be quite content, Mark, to see it go across the line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just keeping that ball. We played 21 minutes of this first quarter. So just gone into time on. The Bulldogs up by 6 points, so they really will try to hang on to that lead going into quarter time.
Arnold against Downsborough. Dew.
This is something I haven't seen the Bulldogs do for a month or so. When they've been under pressure, they've just played the boundary line, and I reckon over the last 2 seasons they've played that better than any other club in the competition. Today they're just restructuring, playing for time and playing the boundary line. It's an ominous sign.
It is, as again Arnold gets the ball down to the advantage of a teammate. Again, as you've called, DB. Not taking risks, playing the percentages. If there's an opening there, they take it. If there's not, it goes back to a 50-50 ball. Grandstand side as the crowd builds here at Football Park. Downsborough again against Arnold. Important. No, Downsborough works Arnold under the ball. Cook taken off the ball as he went to kick. The Redlegs under pressure look fragile. Nice work by Hall. He gets the ball out to the advantage of Coffey. Only as far as Jarman, who was taken heavily, as was Cunningham, but good enough to get the kick forward. West from over the back. A tap back, opposite opportunity to use his pace. Left foot kick, cut off at the pass by Steinberner. Grandstand side, a leg under pressure is good to the skipper in Gurdon. He too plays the boundary. Saywell, hands out in front, good work, couldn't take the ball. Jarman tries to work the ball in. Holm, courageous, and earns a free kick. Goes to play on under pressure. Still good enough to find Lee. Lee centres the ball. It's one-on-one, and Hicks a one-hander. Brilliant work, Mark Nolly.
Just great work right down that outer wing. Started with Nathan Steinberner in the back pocket. Came out. We saw Daniel Holm one-on-one. Decided to back himself. He wanted to move the ball quickly. He found the back pocket player in Scotty Lee. And Scotty Lee just weighted the ball beautifully over the top of Fleming's head. And Hicks one-handed, as you heard Robbie Popplestone call. A sensational mark. This could bring up his second goal for the quarter.
So Hicks. Now the opportunity to bring up his second. He'll kick from inside 50, but only by a matter of metres. From 47 metres off the boot, the distance is there, or is it falls just short, but taken over the line, and so another behind. The first of the day, the 24-minute mark of this first quarter.
Points the margin at quarter time here in the preliminary final. Statistically, the Bulldogs hold sway. 52 kicks to 38 gives you a fair indication of the dominance. But look at the marks. The Bulldogs are holding the air, and the handballs, they're also superior. Not much in the frees and certainly not much in the hitouts, as you would expect. Goal kickers for Central. Lures leads the way with 2. Conway has 1, and Damien Hicks has the other, while for the Redlegs, Cunningham, back from a knee reconstruction, has 1, and Malloy the other. So there is the quarter time score. 2 goals won 13 to 4 goals won 25. As we go to Mark Naley and Rob Popplestone. Fellas, the breeze certainly a factor, but I don't think a big one.
Now coming from over the grandstand shoulder here, so it's coming from the west. But really, David, it was Norwood's quarter. Needs to be this quarter at least. The Centrals in that first quarter really did dominate, and they dominate through the midfield, Robbie, with Gurdon on top and also McGowan and Cook.
They did significantly as the ball started to be bounced down to commence the second quarter. The taller players for the Bulldogs all making contributions. Ball bounced down. Eastaugh, the big man for the Redlegs, moves the ball to his skipper. McIntosh under pressure. Again, edges the ball forward. Cook first there, uses his pace, can't find space. Good work, the Bulldogs in the tough clenches. McIntosh comes in late to no avail. Stewie Dew for Central Districts. Good work, has held the ball in tight.
And Stewie Dew today, fellas, is playing on the wings, picking up Tyson. A little bit of a go with Roll, because Tyson can be fairly dangerous out there. But Coach Stephen Wright really has done his homework and he's got his matchups very, very good at the moment.
5 kicks, no handballs to Stewie Dew. He is a powerful kick. Why would you bother handballing Rob if you can kick like that young fellow?
McIntosh there, just a little bit, maybe they're not showing too bit of care there when he came in a little bit late over the top of Daniel Holm, realising that Holm is picking up Jarman. So we're really just trying some rough tactics from McIntosh.
Macca trying to incite some passion from a few of his Norwood teammates. And umpire Bettridge just has a word to him, and Macca laughs it off.
No, there's another free kick downfield, David, to Roger Gurdon, from what McIntosh did to Gurdon.
Fair enough, he saw the big fly at the back. McCormack mops up beautifully, gets through Lures on the tackle. Bowman, Lures direct opponent, kicks it away, but Lures got back with a great second effort. Smothered the kick, then he cleans up Davey as Davey dispatches the kick forward. Dew flew. Gurdon brings it down, but McIntosh works hard over the top of the ball, then in a third effort wraps up his opposition skipper.
Norwood are struggling. Norwood really are struggling at the moment. He's got no fluency going forward. We see McIntosh there just letting Holm know, but at the moment, fellas, Norwood have got some huge problems. We just saw them with the Bulldogs when the free was given, that work that was done. The good, as you said before, the passion shown by the Bulldogs really is great to see.
Good work by the Redlegs. Easter it was to Davey and then to Tyson. The kick forward, half-forward flank in there working hard is Arnold. Again, the Bulldogs move the ball forward. On that occasion, though, only directly to an opponent. The Redlegs momentarily out of trouble. Davey trying to create something out of nothing. A 50-50 ball, a kick to space. Now the race is on. Steinbrenner you'd have to back in, but he lost his footing at a crucial stage. James turns on the left, centres the ball up. West on a lead.
Kick there. Kick by James. That was just perfect. And players coming from everywhere there to James West, but good lead. The kick by James, he just pinpointed it beautifully in a pack of players.
James West just inside 50. Really should be a full forward's goal, but that probably shows the state of play to date. Just appear not to be playing at their very best. Just offline and out of bounds in the full.
I've been impressed with this bloke, fellas. This Daniel really has started well in that first quarter. We do a lot of solid work there on the back lines.
Making a significant contribution is Daniel, coming in for Chambers, as we mentioned pre-game. Again, they move the ball forward. McGowan has put Dew under slight pressure, but good enough to get out of it to Lee. Coffey, again sweeping off half-back, goes forward. Taken under the ball was Lewis. Jarman running around, but not getting much of the ball. Strong tackle. Was it too high? Unfortunately for Daniel Holm, it was a free kick. Mark Naley to Dale Fleming.
We just see here the tackle as it's applied over that left shoulder. But good work, he just stopped the flow of play. Just enough time for the players up the field to pick up their opponents.
Very good crowd enjoying a very fierce contest. Downsborough, from behind it was Arnold thumping the ball to ground. McIntosh went to the boundary. He's playing the Bulldogs tactics, and it's only just dribbled across the line as Coffey ambled after it.
There's some first quarter winners, fellas. Cunningham with nine possessions. The Norwood was the leader,
well,
along with James, also Harvey, Davey, and McIntosh with 5. But for the Bulldogs, fellas, Coffey had 7, so did Durden. Lee had 8. Holm and Steinlager had 10 each. And Schwert on a halfback flank had 9.
I heard you say that Cunningham was struggling in the first quarter. It surprised me. I thought he was their best. Dan Tokia. Well, perhaps you said he wasn't running freely. Oh, Downsborough. The big fly couldn't bring the mark down. I think he got up so high he was worried about how he was coming down. Cunningham tries to crash through. Daniel over the top of it. Claimed by Cook and Cunningham. Couldn't get the ball clear and the umpire forced to bounce.
Yeah, good lead here by Downsborough. Had to jump on the back of Schwert. Just couldn't hold the football in. At the moment, nothing's going Norwood's way.
Downsborough, Rob, a debilitating sickness throughout the season. Lost a lot of weight and has just not quite come back to his best form, but we know he's a good player.
He's a very good player, and he'll need to be very good for Norwood to go all the way. Again, Daniel's been good on that occasion. Didn't time the kick too well at all. Out of bounds in the full. Probably his only mistake of the day to date. 5 minutes into the second quarter, a free kick will be taken by Cunningham. Moves the ball on quickly. It'll be West up against Herrera. I thought Herrera interfered with West, and he did. A slight pull of the jumper. Didn't go unnoticed. Just caught it there, Mark Naley, and really no need in the end to make that sort of infringement in front of goals.
Just trying to put a little bit of pressure on him. We see Jimmy West lining up. He loves these shots. He's only kicking from around about 35 metres out. He should kick the goal.
West for his first of the day. Moments ago he was way offline. On this occasion he brings up his first goal. Norwood edged closer, but still trail. Central District 4-1-25. Norwood 3-1-19.
Just see the 6-minute mark here, just held by Herrera. Wasn't a great deal, but just enough for the umpire to see and then to pay the free kick. But West really has. I mean, that's why he's leading the goal from this year with a very good ratio between goals and points.
Yes, they're a pretty potent force, aren't they? West and Malloy, 115 goals for the season between them. They really have speared the red leg attack. Jew controlling his wing. Oh, there's a free kick in the goal square. It's coming back, and it'll go to Conway. The umpire said he was held, and Bassett the infringer. Well, they give me goal to the Bulldogs, Mark, no question of that.
I'm sure the cameras didn't get it, and I didn't see what happened either, but looked as though he was held. You see the big fella Conway goes back
And gets his second.
It's his second for the afternoon. Well, a good response.
What an important one that was. Now, the umpire indicated that he was pulled unfairly as he was starting. That was the free kick.
And you'd suggest that with Jew being so devastating on that left leg, he didn't allow Conway any yardage at all, when obviously the third umpire, DB, has picked up an infringement, something that basically that's what the third umpire is there for. So the margin's still in favour of the Bulldogs. 2 goals. The ball bounced down again. Easter up against Coffey. Well, Norwood just can't find space. A free kick paid to Norwood on this occasion. It goes to Cunningham. And Nails, you can call this one as we see it.
You see Holm right towards the end there, a little bit high. He wasn't much in that at all.
They go forward again. Strong mark, Geister. Well, big men have been the difference in these two sides at the moment. Geister's just 1 of 4 or 5. Throw in Coffey and Hicks, Lures, and also Conway at full forward. And you've got a fairly formidable side, and you've got conditions that suit. As Arnold changes direction of play to one of the blokes we just mentioned, Coffey. Played on when maybe he should have settled. The pressure on now. Now Tyson inside, goes to McIntosh. They need a captain's goal here inside 50. Yards out, Malloy got hands to the ball, couldn't hold it. Now the Bulldogs jump on him. Working hard, Downsborough. Working just as hard as Arnold. And a bounce down, just yards from Norwood's goals.
Well, a big fly by Malloy. And he almost completed it, as the umpire takes a bounce. The Redlegs already have their reserves through to the grand final. They defeated Central District in the reserves preliminary final here today. Jarman snaps the goal, but it's a point. Now, Jars, crikey, 5 possessions, Mark, hardly sided.
Yeah, so those 5 possessions really haven't been quality possessions. We just saw there, it's a quick snap over his shoulder. The Jarman at the moment, if Norwood are going to get to the next week's grand final, I need a big lift from him. At the moment, Daniel Holm is doing a terrific job.
Cotton moves the ball forward, but only as far as Davey. Jarman will need to make an impact in this game if Norwood are to edge closer. He found Cook, who found Tyson. McIntosh under pressure. A long searching handball. Easter doesn't get a favourable bounce. Out of play on the cross-section of the 50 and boundary lines as Peter Rode barks through instructions to his bench. His side trails by 11 points. 10 minutes gone of this second quarter. The prelim final. There is no tomorrow for the losing side. Downsborough. A handball, only as far as Daniel. Gets around 1 and then cleverly moves the ball to a 50-50 context. Jarman edges his opponent under the ball. First there was Saywell. Will he get another opportunity? He will. Nice play. Good presence of mind. Edges the ball to the advantage of Cook. Lures underneath that ball. Bowman works to the front of the contest. Can't find a teammate. Gets himself in. Out of trouble. And a kick off the ground to the top of the goal square. And the last line of defence, Dave Mackay, is Scott Bassett.
Bassett, a long bomb to Fleming. Look at the pressure applied by Steinburner. And double tackle. It's a free kick. Over the shoulder, said the umpire.
A high tackle, but how about here? Steinlager, I reckon he's run 45 metres to get to that contest. Got the ball to ground. A little bit of crude tackle there by Damien Hicks.
I like Stewie Jew's kick off the ground before it really almost set up a score. It was just a terrifically clever bit of work. Here he comes at it again. Oh, steals it
Keep
away.
your head down, fella.
Cunningham marks, but the ball was already out of bounds on the full. So a free kick to the Central District skipper in Roger Gurdon. Playing game number 255. What experience he's got. McCormick, Mr. Chessmark, Jarman now working harder, Jars. and they're feeding off him. Davey to Tyson, and there's a trainer down in the middle of the ground. A long one. Hereda streams away from full back. Been a good battle, Hereda and West. A long one. Davey. Well, he's only 23, Davey. Now Tyson. Oh, look at this. Arnold got away from Downsborough, and Downsborough marks 45 metres out directly in front, but will kick into the teeth of the breeze.
Middle of the ground here, we see Saywell charging into number 2 for the men in white.
I think he was a Norwood trainer too, wasn't he? We'll never know. As Downsborough kicks from 48, it'll sit up in the teeth of the breeze. Big flyer. Malloy gathers it in. Working hard in the contest was Harvey, handballing it out. McGowan, Hereda toe pokes one forward, but Malloy gathers him in and drags him to the ground. Geister, I don't think, was too happy with the attention, and umpire Doddridge. Stevie right, Rob. Barking instructions.
Well, the advertisements say $3 all day long today, so you'd expect that Steve Rod and Peter Rode will spend a lot of time on that phone. The wind may have switched, actually. The ball seems to be holding up to right of screen as Arnold now under pressure. Well, I fear that Coffey may have went for the boundary, but cleverly so, under pressure. Again, DB, they are playing the percentages and doing it very well.
So they're playing the boundary mark. We haven't seen them do this for 4 or 5 weeks.
They're playing very disciplined team rules this afternoon at the Bulldogs.
Arnold only as far as Cook. That isn't 10 metres, so play on call due. Well, he's playing his best game for probably a month. Quick hands to Schwert. McGowan, nice. There, in fact, it's Cotton. Now, Cotton's usually a good disposer of the ball, and he's found a teammate. Hicks dropped soft hands, really, in a tough situation. Has allowed McCormack to clean up. His searching handball finds a teammate. It's Bowman, who comes grandstand side. Cunningham has a runner, and will use him. It's Tyson. Tyson, under pressure, moves the ball to centre half forward. McIntosh, good strong hands, but Daniel cleverly to Lee. Lee's quick kick, when he maybe should have gained possession, has opened the door for Jarman. His quick kick forward can't find a teammate. Now in open space, Saywell kept his eyes on the ball.
Just one very interesting stat there. We see Grant Coffey coming off, and number 4 and Bowden Lockwood coming on for the Bulldogs. His Norwood Bells have gone into their 50-metre half circle 24 times to only score their 3 goals 2, where Central District have gone in 12 times to score their 5 goals 1. So nearly, less than half, but have converted very well.
Their stat. James to space. Malloy thumps it down. Geister over the top of it. Tyson flips it out. Obbs guy has a clear run at goal. He can run all the way if he wants to. 10 metres out, directly in front. Snakes on the left and bangs it through. That's the Redlegs' 4th. They're back in contention. They trailed by 11 before that. They're now back within a goal. They're 5 points down, 15 minutes into the second quarter.
Still around the moment. They're not playing good football, the Redlegs, but they're still hanging in there. As we said, they're 5 points down the moment. But Obbs here really wasn't quite sure where he was going to go. He was looking maybe for the handball, but West kept moving backwards on him, as you'll see there on screen. So he just decides to go around his body on his left leg and converted his first goal for the afternoon.
I thought Hereda on that occasion may have left the line as the ball's bounced down Eastor. They're starting to win the centre breaks. That's important. Again, Tyson moves the ball forward. Inside the 50, quick hands. Clever coming through for the Redlegs. And good work on that occasion.
Roger James.
Was Roger James. Well, that was very quick and clever hands. We've seen Cotton do much the same for the Bulldogs in the first quarter. But nails, they're the sort of things that work wonders when a team's down.
How quickly this game can turn around. The Norwood now go to a 1-point margin at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter. This game, how quickly it has swung. A couple of goals. It's back in Norwood's favour.
James, 5 kicks, 5 handballs, having an influence. Jarman has moved into second gear in this match after being quiet early, and he's really made a difference in the middle. Holmes' influence is just abating slightly. Jarman goes at it again, gets one high. Well, we know how important this fellow is to the Redlegs, and when he fires, they just look a different outfit. As he's fired for most of the year, over 30 possessions average, he has destroyed them. And Harvey, it was Jarman out of the middle, and Harvey the finisher. What an important combination. They're going forward, the Redlegs, but their finishing is improving with every minute.
The Norwood have kicked their fourth major for the quarter. Harvey again is running through the middle of the pack. Picked it up. And ran nearly to the 15-metre line there, but great work by Anthony Harvey. Read the ball beautifully at the package. The change has been made. Saywell's come off, number 57 for the Central District side, and Benton Walton has come on to a half-forward flank.
In only his third league game, all of a sudden Norwood have stopped the rot, and winning centre breaks is winning football. The ball bounced down again. Again, Norwood get the tap. On this occasion, the Bulldogs start to pick up the tempo. Hall appeals for a free kick. Last man up is Cunningham. He's been good. What a comeback. 7.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. Norwood by 7 points. Again, Easter, he's been busy. Speaking of comebacks, knocked out last week, this week playing a significant role. Norwood again, Cook under pressure, kicks around the body. It's all the Bulldogs. Lockwood, well, doesn't get a favourable bounce. Has the tide turned? Malloy will apply pressure, make no doubt about that. And the pressure has forced Geister to go for the boundary.
Game at the moment. Norwood have just increased their work rate. They're running in numbers now. They're running with a little bit of confidence. It's a very important ingredient at this time of the year.
They trail by 12 points. They now lead by 7. What an important turnaround. Jarman goes hard at it. Daniel harder again. And that's a dead heat.
Very unlucky there, Andrew Jarman. May have received the free kick. His body was on the ground over the football when Daniel came over the top. Did surprise me. And then emergency umpire didn't pay the free.
By Richard Williams went off the opening bounce with a back injury, we're told. Craig Doddridge, the emergency umpire, gets a run. Cunningham dragged away from the contest. Holm, number 16 for Central, dives on top of it, and again umpire Doddridge will bounce. So Holm has the job on Jarman, and his first quarter was terrific. But Andrew has got away from him in the second quarter and has been pivotal in the Redlegs coming back from the brink. Arnold high over the top of Downsborough. Schwert, who was very important early, gets it out. Hull around the corner, called to play on. The ball didn't go the required distance, but look at Eastor. He's marking everything in sight. He's competing, and he's been important. And he'll push it long. Downsborough front position. Oh, I'm not sure the judgment was good by Arnold to try and mark from behind, but he regathers the ball, pushes it forward. A handball comes from Cunningham to Jarman. Further afield, it's Cook with a little short one. And underneath this one, James marks, and Scotty Lee could do nothing to stop it. Plays on quickly and goes for goal. Oh, look at the kick. Look at the kick. Great shepherd by Malloy. But I think that, oh, it's a goal. What a goal. Great shepherd, Malloy, and James, the opportunist, gets his second.
I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that contest in the goal square between Malloy and his opponent. We will see it. James, quick thinking, got the ball moving. But we just see here, Malloy really had hold of Geister in that goal square. And maybe the umpire should have given the free kick.
Have a look, he's clearly
just pushing him, he was, David.
Yep.
Wasn't allowing him to come forward, so should have been paid.
By Adrian Forster, right on the spot, Rob.
Ball bounced down. Surprising, though, not a free kick on that replay. Nevertheless, as you called, DB, the umpire in the right spot, no excuse. Now the Bulldogs looking to go forward for the first time in probably 5 or 6 minutes. Stewie Dew, we spoke about his disposal. He'll need to be pinpoint perfect because the Bulldogs need a score. He goes forward from the back. Hicks flies high. They need a crummer. They have. They've got Gurnham. This is what they need, the Bulldogs. Good work.
Benny Walton
by Benjamin Walton, just coming onto the field just moments ago, brings up his first goal of the game in his first possession.
And his first goal of his career. What a one to remember.
He won't forget that one. Just 21 minutes gone of this second quarter. And look at this, Mark Nally.
There's a couple of 17-year-old players out there this afternoon. Stewie Dew for the Bulldogs. Now Ben Walton playing, as we said, his third game. Brings up his first goal. But a much-needed one for the Bulldogs.
Stewie Dew, I think, has turned 18, Mark, if I'm not mistaken, just a month ago. So the only 17-year-old on the field. There's Benny Walton, the youngest player on the field. Eastow dumps it down. It was Holm who bashed it forward on the left foot. But look at Bowman. bounces Lachlan Bowman from half-back for the Redlegs. He's been a tower of defence all year. Downsborough playing centre-half forward today. Bowen Lockwood has him. And West on the lead. Now, this is where Conway kicked the goal early in the first quarter, but West decides to feed it off. There's a trip, and jumping in, Cotton deep in the defence.
Well, Harvey slipped at the crucial stage, didn't he? Cotton read the play brilliantly, comes to the grandstand side, Cook, quick hands, Dantokia. Well, he's called a throw, but the umpire on the blind side, either he's got X-ray vision or he assumed that Cook threw the ball. Nevertheless, Arnold takes the free kick. Laterally, they move the ball through Lockwood. The 1-2, back to Lockwood. Lockwood takes on Malloy, under pressure, kicks long. Hicks from behind. Eastor came in, got a hand to it. Oh, this is tough stuff. Davey in there fighting hard. Oh, what a tackle that is by Simon Lewis. Made Davey earn it.
Thought he was a walnut, tried to crack him open.
Bit of strong work there.
Well, there's certainly some passion in this game. We're 23 minutes into the second term, and the margin a mere 7 points in favour of the Redlegs, who trailed by 12 points at quarter time. Bowman forward, Cotton just edged Harvey out of the contest. It was very clever. Off it goes to Swerdon. Cotton, the good shepherd, streams away. 55 out goes for goal. Oh, the Bulldogs like that. They're back within a point, and Swerdon, who doesn't kick a lot of goals, gets one today. And having a quick look at the stats, I don't think he's kicked a goal this year. That's his first, and what an important time to kick it.
Well, he knew he had the support there, Roger Gurdon. We knew McIntosh wasn't far away. Gurdon's got the body between the two players, so Schwert decided to go to the goal square. As we can hear the chant in the background of Centrals as they come back to a 1 point margin.
The Bulldogs showing some fight. Eastor, though, importantly, starting to win centre breaks. Down to Cook. His inclusion's been good today. His kick forward, though, finds a rotor. Looks for a runner. Well, that's a tough ball, but Geister was equal to the task, and he's been interfered with as he disposed of the ball by Malloy. Luckily so, because Eastor took the mark down the ground.
No need for this from Malloy. It's a little bit too untied. He goes over the neck after he's got rid of the ball. And another free kick downfield. We've seen the ball now will travel over 100 metres and will be taken, I believe, by Damien Hicks. 30 metres out, directly in front.
You'd have to expect, TB, that there's been instruction for umpires to look for that, because all this year I've seen very little of it.
The umpire's clear there's big stakes today, and defenders have their reputations on the line. McIntosh querying the umpire and said, hey, fair dinkum, make it that way at both ends. Damien Hicks, who's kicked one goal run already, lines them up from 20 metres out directly in front. If he kicks a goal here, they're in front, and a point brings them level. Well, it's a dead heat. $44 apiece.
Well, they're the ones, DB, that can make or break a side, as Coach Peter Road, you saw, looking on then. Obviously concerned about those free kicks down the field. The Redlegs move it out, but only as far as Lures did suggest for the Bulldogs. Simon Lures, been busy early again, putting pressure on this Norwood defence. Hicks taken out of the equation. Cotton, can he make something out of nothing? Read the ball brilliantly, couldn't take the clean grab, and the ball goes over the boundary line, only metres from the Bulldogs' goal. Scores locked away into time on in this second quarter. Preliminary final. Eastor tapped down. The Bulldogs want to score. McGowan looks for Cook, couldn't get a clean possession away. McCormack picked up the crumbs, but again bounced down.
Norwood and Central have met 7 times before today in finals. Norwood hold a 4-3 advantage. And of course the last one was the 95 preliminary final. And Central won by 24 points. So there's a fair amount of animosity between these two sides and a fair amount of finals history. Sujai Cook was good, wasn't he? Bowen Lockwood's kick just right on the boundary line, but too close, and Cook able to effect a very good spoil and dump the ball across the line. So as the ball comes back in, we're 26 and a half minutes into the second term, and good defensive work by Lachlan Bowman forces that one across the line again.
Norwood 5-1 on favourites downstairs. Central District's 5-1 to win within by under 20 points. Well, scores are locked away nearly half-time. So we've got an even money bet on our hands, you'd suggest, as McIntosh and McGowan fight hard for the ball. Captain Gary McIntosh, second game back today after a knee problem, which can't keep a champion like Gary McIntosh down. Andrew Jarman in screen. Picked up the tempo early in this quarter, but in the last 10 minutes really hasn't been seen. And just as we say that, he gets another important touch. Tyson moves the ball forward. Again under pressure. Good pressure by the Bulldogs. Another boundary throw in.
Very good crowd enjoying perfect weather. And there's one chap keeping a close eye on proceedings. Perhaps he's a film director, or perhaps a one-eyed fan. Sujai Cook, forward. Cunningham always been clever. To Tyson, who is a hard-running player, forcing it to West, who marks 48 metres out directly in front, and will kick into the teeth of a fairly reasonable breeze. You look for a lead from Malloy. Malloy comes once, goes back, and has another try. And that is a terrific grab. A long one to the square. Runs close to the man on the mark. Malloy will try and shepherd this one through. And loose ball falls. Tyson snaps. He stuck it through. Grubbered one. Tyson gets his first. The Redlegs 8. They're 8-2. The Bulldogs are 7-2. The action on ABC Sport.
Strong kick there by West. He couldn't make the distance. Guys had the right idea. He came from behind to spoil it. Maybe should have cleared the pack a little bit better. But well read by Tyson. And Malloy there in the goal square, just making sure to let guys to know that possibly that score from his cost him the goal.
Norwood 8-2-50, Central 7-2-44. Unforgivable, that goal by Central District. Last line of defence should have been taken over the line. Ball bounced down. In hard, Eastor. He's made the difference this quarter. Also Lockwood, quick kick forward, no. Again, Davey from a standing start to Harvey. Dropped what he should have taken. First there will be Stewie Dew. A kick under pressure. McGowan taken out of the equation, allows McIntosh into the equation. Steinberger, a slips catch, no. Play on to the call. Arnold, good work for a big man. Clever hands, quick to Schwerk. He's been good. Now Lockwood with space, has to find a teammate. His kick off the boot isn't pretty, but it can't land on Hicks' chest. Keeps his feet importantly. Settle Hicksy, he does. And again, with goal number 2 and on the siren, equals up the ball game here at Football Park.
You see there, at half-time, scores locked away. What a quarter it was. It started with the Bulldogs coming out hard and strong. Norwood got the advantage. They kicked their 5 goals, scored the quarter, where we saw Central District only kicking 4, with Hicks right on the final siren, bringing up that final goal to level the score. We really have got a game in our hands here, David Mackay, and I'm looking forward to a second half.
No doubt about that. At half-time of the preliminary final of 1997, Norwood are 8-2-50, Central are 8-2-50. Scores are locked away. You're watching all the action on ABC Sport. Scores are locked away dead level at half-time in the preliminary final. The loser, of course, is finished for 97. The winner gets a crack at Port Adelaide for the title of the 1997 Premier. Statistically, the Bulldogs held sway at quarter-time, and at half-time, similarly, they lead in the kicks, they lead in the marks. They have just trailed in the handballs. Norwood really got amongst the stats in the second quarter, particularly their handballs. Free's not much in it, and hit-outs. Eastor really is dominating the air for the Redlegs. Goal kickers for Central. Lures, Conway and Hicks all have 2. James has 2. Tyson, Obbs, Malloy and West singles. So at half-time in the preliminary final of 1997, 8-2-50 apiece, and one of the turning points for Norwood was a great goal by Roger James.
We just see here, fellas, the ball coming through. Some good hands given by Harvey over to James. And really, with his pace, under a fair bit of pressure here, we see just Harvey just flicked it across. The support was there. A good goal by James. He really, I mean, that really got Norwood back into the game. At one stage there, they led by 7 points. For the Bulldogs, to their credit, bounced back. I just noticed, fellas, just one player coming off the ground there, Rob Popplestone, was the big fella.
Yeah, one of the big fellas there. I think it may have been Bowman, actually, because I can still see Eastor out there.
Well, Bowman's out there as well.
So statistically, Cunningham with 16 and Tyson with 17 possessions lead the way for the Redlegs. And Schwert with 15 and Holm with 13, the leading stats getters on the ground as we go into the third quarter of the preliminary final. Your commentator is Rob Popplestone.
Eastor will be up against Coffey, who's returned to the field after the half-time interval. Scores locked away. The crowd starting to lift, the atmosphere starting to lift here at Football Park. Eastor, line ball, tap down, Cunningham, centre break Norwood's way. Head of the square, Malloy, front of the pack, Geister. Good disciplined play, punches the ball 25 metres outside the 50-metre zone. Cunningham has a runner, but Bulldogs have Daniel taken with the ball, all locked up. A bounce down, but a tremendous tackle by Troy Clements of the Redlegs, Mark Naley.
Daniel had nowhere to go, had driven nose face down into the dirt.
Peter Rowe ringing the changes at half-time. Clements coming on. Arnold flips it out to Steinburner, who didn't have a possession in the second quarter after dominating the first. McGowan feeds it back to Steinburner. He's obviously fired up for this important third quarter, but look at Eastor, who is starring in ruck for the Redlegs. 17 hit-outs, 6 marks, 4 kicks, 4 handballs. He's doing his job, no doubt about that. They need their runners to get into the game. And Harvey unable to gather the ball in as it goes across the line. Mark Arnold having a big impact at centre-half back on Downsborough.
He's played very, very well, but we mentioned before about Downsborough. He's missed a fair bit of football. Really has taken time to find a bit of form. Very good crowd as Cook thumps it away on the left boot, but look at this seesaw again. Just controlling the airways. Off it goes to Lockie Bowman. A high one. Oh, Arnold bodied out Downsborough. McIntosh got him up to throw. Great tackle, Macca.
Good work, Gary McIntosh. Really picked up his level after last week's performance, and now kicks to the leading West. Ball punched down. A one-on-one competition. Coffey, the sweeper for the Bulldogs, doing his job, but handballs to Schwert, who was hotter. Now Arnold under pressure. The Redlegs have picked up the pace as Downsborough toe pokes the ball forward, but out of play.
There's one criticism, I think, Grant Coffey, when he does have a tendency to make a mistake, and when he does, God, they're good ones.
Throw in, Arnold against Downsborough. Arnold front position. Downsborough may have got the tap to Cook. Well, kicks to the top of the square. Left leg goal. Cunningham. Goal number 2, John Cunningham. That's the start the Redlegs wanted. They move on to 9-2-56. Central District 8-2-50. 2.5 minutes gone of this third quarter.
Good work by Cook, just threw it onto his boot, realised he had to get it forward. A great tussle in the goal square by Geister and Malloy. Cunningham first there, again onto his boot very quickly. But Cunningham at the moment, fellas, 19 possessions, a couple of marks, 2 goals. He could nearly pack up bag and go home. That is a great effort so far. We're only just started the third quarter.
Cunningham still only 23 years of age. He's got to be an AFL candidate. If that knee holds up, he looks pretty good today. Eastor dumps it forward. Sujai Cook to Harvey. He's broken the shackles. Harvey, 25 out and closing, goes long.
He's missed it.
Oh, he's missed.
It always surprised me, fellas, when you've got that much ground in front of you, no player ahead of you, why would you kick it from 40 metres out when you could have nearly run into 20 metres and made a certainty of it? You see Harvey there, not too happy with himself.
Norwood, 9-3-57. Central District 8-2-50. Stewie Dew looking for an option against a Norwood zone defence. Kicks long, there's a space there, but now as McGowan sits under the ball, the Redlegs in numbers. Kick off the ground. First there, Scotty Lee, quite in the second term. Hasn't a player to find. Moves the ball on blindly. First there, James. Goes one way, then the other. Dantokia from a standing start. Oh, Gurdon dropped the head. Wouldn't expect that from him, but good enough to pick up the crumbs. Then give ground to Dew. Dew gets around one and then backs himself in. Runs to centre wing. Goes out of sight. Hicks edges Fleming under the ball. Can't take the mark. Davey under pressure. Good game. It's a hot pot down there in the forward line. Kick off the ground. Lures first there. Hot on his hammer is Bowman. And out of bounds as Hicks picks up the ball.
Definitely a hot pot there, Rob Popplestone. At the moment, Norwood have got numbers around the football, fellas. They really are in these 50-50 contests, making it very difficult for the Bulldogs. 5
minutes into the premiership quarter, and Cook spins away. Hicks toe pokes it forward, recovers, goes on the left foot. It's a high ball, a difficult one for anyone to take. Bowman underneath it with the back. McCormack tackled by Cotton. He's dragged off the balls to the umpire, and a free kick. So the former Carlton defender, who had a year away from the club travelling overseas last year, McCormack, has been very important. Reported last week, but got off at the tribunal. Gets the kick forward, and Bassett wins one at half-back. Got to say that generally today the umpires have done a good job. Not played any of those Tiggy Touchwood soft ones. There's been a couple that we've not seen where defenders have held a forward in the goal square. They've been contentious, but due to the fact we've not been able to see them and the defenders haven't really remonstrated, you've got to accept them. Downs for a front position, brings the ball to the ground. McIntosh had the ball stolen by Coffey. Hasn't he played a fair game, Coffey? To McGowan at half forward, playing a Greg Williams sweeping role across half forward. Ships it short, and Coffey runs on. He has fired up this big fella. Called to play on, now takes off, but the umpire calls him back.
Yeah, unusual decision that. He did go take a step forward, then broke the tackle. Maybe the umpire should have just maybe called play on.
Coffey goes for the 1-2 again. McGowan, well, McGowan had it moments ago. He found Coffey. Coffey repays the favour. And now plays on quickly. Scotty Lee from a back pocket. As we've come to expect over the past few seasons, a hard worker with or without the ball.
10 goals from a back pocket this year, Robbie. You've got to think that's acceptable.
Very good. A lot of half-forward flankers would like that total. Scotty Lee, inside 50. A nice kick off the boot, Scotty Lee. That's the goal of an experienced player. Goal number 1 for Scotty Lee. Central District moved to within a point. 9-2, 56. Norwood, 9-3, 57.
McGowan to Coffey, back to McGowan, across to Lee, so the numbers and the players were free downfield. Maybe a little bit of loose checking there by the Redlegs. We've come to expect Scotty Lee occasionally pop up on the forward line and kick that goal. As we see, that's his 10th for the game. 11th for the season.
So Scotty Lee at 34 years of age, the oldest man on the field, and only 7 games short of 200 with the club. You'd have to expect him to play on next year. The club will certainly be demanding that he tries. Harvey over the top of the ball. Steinburner handballs it out. McGowan flips it further afield to Gurdon. The skipper taken high by Dantokia. Free kick, a professional free. Gurdon was running free and Cook was circling him, so Dantokia gave away the professional one. A high ball towards half forward. Eastall front position. Taken off the pack by Hicks. He was claimed high play on, said the umpire. And look at the gang tackling by the Redlegs. They are ferocious.
Fellas, just quickly, Ian Downsborough seems to have some sort of leg injuries coming off the ground. Player not ready to come back on to just yet. We'll just pick him up as he does.
Andrew Pascoe coming.
Andrew Pascoe will be coming on. But at the moment, fellas, the Bulldogs forward line very congested, not a great deal of space.
Jarman flicks it out the back door to Lachlan Bowman, who heads towards the boundary line with the ball run. It does. It's a successful kick. We're 8.5 minutes in, and it's a 1-point ball game in favour of the Redlegs.
Well, the game has ebbed and flowed. Both teams at certain stages of this game appear to have gained authority, and just when you think they may run away with it, the opposition work their way back into it. The ball thrown in. Jarman, tunnel ball. Cunningham, standing start, high ball, not much meterage. Schwer took his eyes off the ball, I thought, at the last moment. No free kick, play on. Stewie Jew. Oh, McIntosh lets go of a left that Amanda Holyfield would have been proud of.
Right on the spot, blood rule's been called. McIntosh has given the best left hook I have seen in 10 years, and the umpire was in front of it, facing him. Watch this. Wait till he turns him. One. And the umpire is coming from that angle. Striking me feet, I tell you now. I've seen everything. Seen everything.
Well, Stewie Jew likes to play it tough on that occasion. Here's the on
That's
the end
garbage.
of an indiscriminate left hook.
He's been hit going for the ball.
Ball bounced down. Coffey against Eastor. Tyson, 12 possessions in the second quarter, a left foot kick. Nice mark, Daniel in underneath Cunningham. They changed direction of the play. Schwert, well, West, I thought, may have went over the mark. Now has a short option. Coffey is that option. Will bring the ball back to whence it came. Scotty Lee works down the field once more. Tyson, desperate punch to the boundary. The tempo was picked up, Dave Mackay.
Yes, and rising high. 10.5 minutes into the third quarter. The game in the balance. 1 point the difference as we play out the premiership quarter, and high drama it already is. McIntosh lets unload on Jew. Jew goes off with a black eye and blood streaming from his face, and Scotty Lee comes to have a little chat with McIntosh. So emotions running high, as they do in finals. And Stevie Wright, the Central District coach, who took them to a grand final last year, his first year at the club, after Alan Stewart took them to 2 grand finals and lost 2. Will they get another chance this year? It's a tight one. Davey over the top of the ball, gathering in him Benny Walton in only his 3rd senior game. Young 17-year-old, a rising star for the Bulldogs. There he is, 57. And he kicked his first goal in league football today. Lures and Eastall, but it will fall to the shorter fellows. Swatara it was who got the tap, and pushing it forward, Eastall, the big ruckman, did his own roving. Geister gets through traffic successfully so. He had a poor game last week, and he really is making amends today. A loose ball falls to Cook. He's got Tyson short, comes back inboard. It was the right option, wasn't it? And Harvey evades the tackle. No, he didn't. Steinberner got him, and McGowan flicks it away. They're running from defence, the Bulldogs.
Daniel now outside the 50-metre zone. Kicks to the leading Lures. Lures underneath the ball. Good mark. Good mark, McCormack, who I think has winged himself, or maybe even done a knee. Oh, boy, he's done a knee there. You won't see McCormack back on this ground for the rest of the game, I can assure you of that. And he's in all sorts of pain there.
Well, that is one of the frightening aspects of our game. Oh, look, that is sickening. See that left knee twist as it did. Oh, he hyperextended it. No doubt that's a knee injury, and that is one of the saddest things on a football field. Peter Road ponders the options. What a blow, what a sickening blow.
He's getting a bit of support there, McCormack, from his teammates. And we're going to take time here to get him off the field. But not a good sign, especially entering as prospects of a grand final next weekend up against the Magpies.
Paul McCormack, quite wonderful for the Redlegs since coming across from Carlton. Had a year away from the club travelling last year, and he really has stiffened their defensive resolve this year and has had a wonderful season. Reported last week, striking Scotty Hahn of Port Adelaide, and not found guilty during the week, able to take his place in this team. And what a blow for the Redlegs.
Well, that first 30 seconds when you do a knee, let me tell you from experience, is extremely painful. Wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. Into the 50-metre zone. Let's see what Redlegs can do now. Coffey with no options. I thought may have went for touch. The kick was a poor one because Davey is now in, and McIntosh, thank you, sits under the maul. And coming in late was Geister, who said, Macca, I've seen you at centre wing 5 minutes ago. Take that home with you.
Well, there's a defining moment in any game, and maybe that's it. McIntosh, the leader, has led by example, put his body on the line, and marks 30 metres out directly in front.
Are you telling me that wasn't a 25-metre penalty?
I don't think the umpires are going to pay it at that point.
Well, they've picked up 2 when the ball's 100 yards away. They've let 2 go when the ball's sitting in the player's hands. Stewie Dew 5 minutes ago. Gary McIntosh right now walks in the goal. Thank you very much, says Gary, and fires up his teammate. The crowd responds. Norwood increased their lead. They move now to 10-3-63. Central District 9-2-56.
We just see here Davey on the outer half-forward flank. He knew he was going to be hit, and you can feel the players coming towards him. Geister was committed, fellas.
He was in the
Couldn't pull out of that.
Yep.
So good umpiring, good decision, but a good goal by Gary McIntosh, the captain of the Redlegs.
The stakes are high, and we've got a 7-point ball game in favour of the Redlegs, courtesy of the Gary McIntosh goal. We're almost 17 minutes into the third term, and the winner gets a crack at Port Adelaide in the grand final. Andrew Jarman flicks it forward. Tyson tries to run onto it. Support comes from Pascoe. Oh, Scotty Lee tried to clean him up. He just juiced off him. Sujai Cook to Eastor to the goal square. Was there a manhandling infringement there? No, says the umpire, but he did have the sun in his eyes. And the ball across the line. Fanatical Red League fans, what a weekend of football it's been. The Crows yesterday 31-point victors over St Kilda in the AFL Grand Final. Today a tight one in the SANFL preliminary final. If you're sitting at home with a bit of a fuzzy head after last night's stay back, we'll take you right through to the finish of this match. And it's proving to be a good one.
Norwood responding to McCormack's injury. Again, picked up the tempo. Cook around the corner. Top of the square, one-on-one. Geister takes the ball over the line. Central District now trail by 8 behinds, or 8 points. Central District's 9-2-56. Norwood 10-4-64. We've been playing 18 minutes of this third quarter, preliminary final. Playing for the right to meet Port Adelaide. Scotty Lee will bring the ball back into play. Against the zone, goes short. Haven't seen Stewie Dew return to the field. And Geister now, last line of defence. Kicks long. Home, front of the pack. Well, got hands to it. Couldn't hold it. A kick off the ground. McGowan fighting hard. Gurdon, Cunningham held without it. There's a free kick that's been paid. It goes against Central District, and the vice captain of the Redlegs in Harvey, just marginally outside 50, will again send them into attack. Norwood kicking with the aid of a slight breeze to left of screen. Will need a margin, you'd expect. He goes short. The kick is up and under. Malloy got hands to it. Taken out of the equation, though. Scotty Lee fights hard. There's some desperate work in close.
You see Scotty Lee there. Ball just been knocked down between his legs. In the bottom of that pack was Tyson. Not really much the umpire could say other than ball it up.
Pascoe wins the tap, falls to Schwert. He can't get clear of the ball. Pascoe butters up again now, a handball to McIntosh. Macca has lifted, and his teammates are rallying with him. Obbs claimed by Steinberg. A great pace contest. The two speedsters, the Roadrunners, as Gurdon goes forward, and Eastor, who is starring for the Redlegs, takes another big grab. That's mark number 8. Add that to his 20 hit-outs, and you can see what impact he's had for the Redlegs today. A high ball west the target. And at the front, it's Pascoe. Oh, the big man recalled from obscurity to man the big fellas of Central District. And today, 3 possessions in the space of a minute, and that one important.
You There's no one attacking the ball strongly from behind there from the Bulldogs. And we see West is coming off the ground, being replaced by number 26,
Stephen Pitt.
which is Stephen Pitt for his first run of the day.
Named in the back pocket, started on the bench. Pascoe, who's played 15 games this year for 4 goals. Just a big hook. Gets a point. Now, he has kicked 10 goals in a league game before. He's kicked 6 quite a few times. So they're working on him, I think, getting amongst some goals.
It's the heaviest player out there.
Scotty Lee
kilograms.
against the zone, threads one through, finds Steinburner. Plays on quickly, well, took a chance. It paid off. Clements works, Cotton under the ball and takes a strong mark. The scores have changed on numerous occasions. Probably the biggest margin to date is the one you have now, 9 points. Eastall, yet another mark on that left foot, goes long. McIntosh, he's been busy. Moves the ball forward. Malloy around the corner, hooks it just a margin too much. 21 and a half minutes gone of this third quarter. Norwood now move on to 10-5-65. In fact, 10-6-66. Central District 9-2-56.
Malloy with 1 goal, 1. Really hasn't got amongst it. Roger James has a couple. Cunningham has a couple. Malloy's 1-1 from 3 kicks. He hasn't found much of the ball at all today. As Scott Lee pushes it wide to the outer side, the target was Geister. Interfered with, said the umpire. He couldn't get to the contest, and Geister will take the free kick. We're 22 minutes into the third term. It's a 10-point ball game in favour of the Redlegs. They're emerging this quarter after scores were locked away at half-time, and the Bulldogs led by 12 points at quarter time. Geister with the left foot. Front position was Arnold. Couldn't bring it to ground. Obbs squirts one out. Davey bends one around the corner, went higher than longer. James underneath it. Schwert thumps it away. Harvey crashes through, feeds it off. They're running the Redlegs. Cunningham has been very good today in the square by himself. Malloy, and he'll run into the open goal. Get his second. Boom! It's a 16-point ball game. The Redlegs are opening up some space, and we'll find out soon whether the Bulldogs have got that much character to come back.
Well, I'm sure the man in the red coat behind the goal squares will lead his Aqualung out, because Malloy has put that ball
Into the lake.
into the lake. We will not see that ball again. And once again, good stuff. I mean, they control this game for the last 10-15 minutes of Norwood. The Bulldog defence have thrown everything back at him. Unfortunately, on that occasion, Malloy just found a little bit of space when Geister went forward.
Roger Girdham leads the field. Coming on in Guernsey number 24 is Stewie Dew. Ball bounced down. Again, the Redlegs go forward. Stephen Pitt will get his first touch at an important time. He opens up the play. McIntosh under pressure. Malloy, quick and clever hands. Tyson, left leg. Impossible angle. Don't tell me, surely. Goal number 2. Thank you very much. In a matter of moments, it's now an 18-point, 22-point ball game.
Now, good work, Tyson coming out. The ball really floating across. We'll see it here. Maybe a throw may have been called there. Umpire may have been out of position, but Tyson's kicking on his left foot, bringing it back in.
22 points the margin. We asked a rhetorical question about McCormick and how he's standing with his teammates. Well, I think they've answered in the most emphatic style as an FAB. It's against Bowman. And the umpire gives him a stern talking to. He decked Bowen Lockwood as Bowen got the kick away. And the free kick will go to Hicks. 35 out, the angle, a 45-degree one. And Damien Hicks, who's kicked 2 goals, 2 already this afternoon. And don't the Bulldogs need this? This is an important kick. Their season on the line. They trail by 22 points. This will bring them back within 16 points and a faint hope of coming home with the breeze. Oh, it's a good kick, an important one. He has star qualities, and the coach's wife loves that. She's up in the grandstand cheering her side on as Hicks gets his third.
Just see there, Lockwood, as he releases it. There's a fair bit of margin between him and also Bowen Lockwood. And Bowman, that was, Lachlan Bowman, who gave the free kick away. But good kick by Damien Hicks. Must-needed goal for the Bulldogs.
Eastord will be up against Arnold. Arnold, tap out of the centre, only as far though. Again is the red leg runner in Obst. He's got pace to burn. His kick is poor. The race is on. First there's Watala. Can he keep the ball in? He doesn't really want to. Hot on his hammer was Tyson. Peter Rowe would be pleased with the way his team's responded to McCormack's tragic injury. Stevie Wright would be concerned just how Central District are going to get back into this game. Pascoe wins the throw-in. Again, it's tough and tight out there, Holman Tyson.
At the bounce, Stevie Wright is about to find out whether his side has got what it takes to win a grand final, because if they can overcome the Redlegs here, they've really got that reserve and resolve that it takes to win grand finals. They've lost 2 in the last 2 years. Lost 3 in the last 3, haven't they? What do I think about that?
It's been a heck of a long time before they won one anyway.
Well, they haven't won one. That's the truth. They entered the competition in '64. They haven't won one yet. I think they've won 17 junior grade premierships, but they haven't won a senior one yet. They've had their chances. Roger James flicks it high over the top of. This is dangerous for Central District as they go forward again. Oh, it's Pitt. He's a quality player. And he just judged that one superbly. 27 minutes in. They lead by 16 points. And he marks 20 metres out on a very slight angle.
A fair bit of pace there across that midfield at the moment. Obst coming through, very couple of important possessions. Also Tyson there. But the big advantage is that they've got space up in their forward line to run into.
He's kicked 51 career goals, but only 3 this year. Make that 4 an important one. Aren't they all important today?
It's terribly important. It's a good margin now. It goes out to 22 points. The Redlegs, the biggest margin of today's game. You see Pitt just take the right position, possibly a Raider, just pushed off the ball a little bit too easy. And once again, a good kick from Obst and a good kick from Stephen Pitt, his first goal for the afternoon.
Well, Stephen Pitt started on the bench today after being an integral part of the Norwood machine early this year.
Was he injured though? That's the question. Or was he fully fit?
Good question. Arnold out of the centre. Steinburner kicked one the wrong way and fortuitously falls in the arms of Pascoe. Pascoe, that left leg. The big men coming into the game for Norwood. Malloy, was he pushed? No, play on's the call. Pitts kicked one, on that occasion dispossessed. James under pressure, gives ground to McIntosh. He'll centre this ball up. He's kicked forward though, under pressure. Malloy got hands to it, play on's the call. Daniel under pressure takes the ball out of play.
You see there in the goal square, it was actually Jarman. There's a player there. Daniel did some good work. Willie was home as well. But Jarman really has struggled today. He's had 15 possessions, but most of those have been rushed.
Well, Pascoe trying to get it out of mid-air. He won't. He'll tap it down. Only as far as Daniel. Taken cleverly by James. Lee also holds the ball in. Bounce down once more. 20 metres out from Redlegs. Goals.
22 points the margin. Every handball, every attack on the ball, now measured by players and coaches and supporters alike. It's right down to the wire, and her heroes will be made this afternoon. Michael Aish, a former Norwood champion, Magarey medalist, who played in their last premiership in 1984 when they came from 5th to win it. Will it be the year of the Redleg this year? They've been the top side all year. Oh, Pascoe can finish it off. 28 points. It's going to be hard for the Bulldogs. They'll really need to show some character now, and the Redlegs have found something. They are emerging from their slumber. .27 points the margin at 3/4 time. Well, for Central District, they've got 1 quarter to reel in the Redlegs, otherwise it's finished. for season 1997. Statistically, the Redlegs really, since quarter time, have really dominated. They've got ahead now on the kicks, just trailing on the marks, but look at the handballs. They really are pushing the ball around. Goals to the Redlegs. Tyson, Malloy and Cunningham and James West, Roger James that is, all have 2. West has 1. Hicks 3, Conway 2 and Lewis 2 for the Bulldogs. And the big highlight, of course, there's the three-quarter time score, 27 points the margin. And the highlight is Paul McCormack going down with his knee injury, which really ignited the Redlegs, Mark.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy. We see a player of his ability going down, especially with the grand final coming up. At the moment, that 27-point margin, Rob Popplestone could be enough, but can Centrals get back?
Well, I think they certainly can. If you look through the Redlegs side, both Davey and Fleming were having problems with cramps in that premiership quarter, the third quarter. Downsborough and McCormack have both left the field with leg injuries. Eastor has been the difference.
So the final quarter of the 1997 preliminary final. The Bulldogs trail by 27 points as umpire Doddridge unleashes the action. Eastor it was who thumped the ball forward. Roger James pushes it even further ahead. Underneath that one, Bowen Lockwood upended. Now Pascoe, Jarman off the ground was good work. Wider still to Tyson, who picked it up in the one motion and drives it in long and low. Sujai Cook, Holm there over the top of it, fighting hard for it. Oh, off the ground, conceding the point was Geister.
Some great work on the outer side there. First started with Jarman, little toe poke out into the half-ball line. What a pick-up by James Tyson. Blistering pace, directed to the top of the square. Good disciplined football by the Redlegs.
Lee again against his zone defence, comes grandstand side, finds young Benjamin Walton in just his 3rd league game. Could it be the last for Benjamin in 97? We have 25 minutes to find out. Kicks long, underneath the ball was Arnold, first there, Hall, McIntosh comes into play. Oh, bounced off 2 Central Districts player and found Cunningham from a standing start. It's all the Redlegs and young Cook.
Too soft. You see McIntosh going back to home for the Bulldogs, just letting him know that he should never have got through that contest. But as you heard the call, took 2 bumps, gave the football off. Good directional kick. And Sujai Cook should go back and kick this goal.
Well, he's only kicked 2 goals this year. Importantly, that's his 3rd in the preliminary final, a minute and a half into the final quarter. Norwood now move on to 15-7, 97. Central Districts 10-3, 63.
Just seen here, coming right back. Hull. 2 bumps which should never have happened. They should have been tackles. McIntosh finally ending up with Cook. For the moment, feels like the Bulldogs are gone. They've got Gurdon, they've got Coffey and McGowan, 3 of the major playmakers on the bench.
Well, we may have seen this game set up for a Norwood Port grand final next Sunday.
I think we might, of course, the Redlegs beaten last year in the preliminary final by Port Adelaide by 4 points. And who could forget Scott Hodges drilling that amazing goal from 50 metres out at the northern end of Football Park. That put Port Adelaide through to yet another grand final. Well, the Magpies are there and the Redlegs are tracking them down. And Norwood have only lost 3 games throughout the regular season. They lost, of course, the second semi-final, but it hasn't been, as it would turn out, bad preparation. They've had an extra game today to really fine-tune for Port Adelaide. Pitt around the corner. Disciplined work, puts it to the point of the square. Cunningham underneath it. Oh, great grab, young Benny Walton. What a great mark that was. He can push it out quickly, takes the long option and goes towards Arnold. Arnold in front of Pascoe. Freaks away, chips it short, the lead is on, and it's Cotton, who's been quiet today. 7 kicks, 2 handballs, and hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. He's renowned as being a goal kicker. Today, he hasn't troubled. Lures over the top, fights hard for it. Davey in late, holds the ball in the area. We've got another bounce. 3 minutes, 15 seconds into the 4th quarter of the preliminary final.
We'll see Coach Peter Road there. He'll be pretty happy with his charges up to this point of the game. Scores were level at half-time. The 3rd quarter was the match-winning quarter, 27-point margin. And really, at the moment, my money would be pretty safe on the Redlegs coming home and playing next week in the grand final against the Magpies.
Well, we've got a moment, Mark. You might like to send a message to all those Crows players sitting at home watching this afternoon. You'd be pretty happy with their win yesterday.
I think I better take over the commentary. Ball bounced down. Jarman first there. Steinburner There's Put McCormack coming back onto the ground, on crutches, of course. Now, those statistics don't probably justify the effect he had on that game at crucial stages, and the effect it may have on the club as a whole for next week's grand final. Clements fights hard. Holm first there, plays for a free kick. McIntosh in hard as you'd expect. Lures also. Saywell lets McIntosh knows he's around.
I'm interested, Mark, in hearing what you've got to say about the turning point of the third quarter.
I'll tell you when it was. It was Stewie Dew being thumped or king hit by Gary McIntosh in front of the grandstand.
Good, strong play as far as I'm concerned. The Bulldogs kick for goals. Is that the lifter? It may well be. Nice goal.
Walton, Vinnie Walton.
So he's 52nd of his league career. One in the second quarter and one in the final quarter. Norwood now 15-7-97. Central Districts 11-3-69.
28 points the margin. Can the Bulldogs just peel the Redlegs back? Arnold in ruck, thumps it down. Steinburner now has got Jarman. Holm running free, pushes it long into the forward zone. Loose ball falls. Cotton. He needs something. Jared holds over the top of the ball. That was something special. Now on the right, he pushes it high up into the forward zone. Front position taken by Conway, and he's got it. So there's still some emotion and time for the Bulldogs, and they're being cheered on by their fans.
Terrific play by Jared Cotton. We haven't seen it there, but we will, I'm sure. But a good mark by Conway. Under extreme pressure from behind by number 31 for the Redlegs and Scotty Bassett.
Conway, 3 kicks, 2 goals, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. And if he kicks this, there's some emotion running, and they have the breeze at their back. Well, he's got it. He's got his third. And now the margin comes back to 22 points, and they've got a sniff.
See Cotton there, terrific play. Just held the ball in the area. Not renowned for his right foot kicks. You see there, wasn't the best of one. Made the distance to give enough space for Mark Conway to take the mark and kick the goal.
Mark Conway, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, now 1 in the fourth. 6.5 minutes gone, final quarter. Bounce down. Norwood by 22 points. Arnold against Eastaugh. Again, the Bulldogs go forward. Cotton waits, hits from the back. Picks up the crumbs around the body. First to the ball against Laws. Oh, and Timmy Cook around the body. The Bulldogs aren't finished yet. He's first for the day. Draw at 15-7-97. Central Districts 13-3-81.
You see Coach Wright still showing no emotion, but this Bulldog side's not out. It good work by Hicks. Had the player over the top and he wanted to use him. Decided to go for goal square. Good little poke up there. Flick up by Simon Lewis. A good goal by the left legger in Cook.
At the bounce, it's 16 points the margin, with the Bulldogs having the full sway of momentum. Walton has been terrific in the middle. Eastaugh thumps it out. A good smother was due. Gets Harvey. Now coming out, Swatala. The young guns are firing. Steinburner. Oh, look at the pace. Through traffic, and he spears it long and low. Couldn't find the target. Now Upjohn. Bang. Lachlan Bowman goes in. Hicks there. And on the ground is Cook.
You need to hit the target there. Nathan Steinburner coming through explosive pace, but he had 2 options up forward and missed both of them.
Steinburner 10 kicks, 6 handballs, 16 possessions, 8 minutes in. The Redlegs by 16 points. Port Adelaide face one of these sides next week. Which one will it be? We thought at three-quarter time it would have been Norwood, but the Bulldogs maybe have got another idea.
Well, their work rate is lifted. They've got a bit of emotion. They're playing with some desperation, some intensity. And that's what you need, the qualities you need if you're going to be a successful football side. At the moment, they are. Each one of those qualities is what you're seeing out of the Bulldog jumper.
Pascoe up against Lockwood. Again, it's Walton around the body. Play on to the call from the umpire. It'll be out of bounds at the intersection of the boundary and 50-metre zone. Norwood supporters aren't so sure now. Central District supporters with a smile on the face. Todd Davey in picture has been good today. Arnold will contest this ball with Bowman. In fact, it was Eastor who came in late. Franklin fighting hard. Laws to Cook. Oh, Cook is second in 2 minutes. The Bulldogs are not out of the 1997 Grand Final race. 10 points the difference. Norwood 15-7-97. Central District 14-3-87.
As we can hear the chant in the background, the Bulldog supporters are on their feet. They're bringing home their players. And what a quarter. That little player there, Benny Walton, just did enough to hold the ball in the area. Good flick up, a good goal by Tim Cook.
Lewis was the man who had 2 important flips on to Cook. He really has set up Cook for both those goals. So give Lewis some credit as well. There's the goal kickers. Plenty of action left in this match as we're 10 minutes into the final quarter and we're down to a 10-point ball game.
Just for those people sitting at home watching this, Stewie Jew is wearing number jumper 24.
James West preparing to come back onto the field. Now, who will the change be? Will it be Malloy or Pascoe, or will they put him back in defence to bolster up their defensive zone? Swatala, oh, the emotion running high. This is Jew with one eye closed. And Davey concedes the point, and if you look at him, he is a quality player, and you just wonder about his AFL prospects because he never says die. He's got plenty of pace, and he seems to have fully recovered from that knee operation he had early in the year.
Bowman's coming off. Jim West is coming back on.
Pitt will go to defence for the Redlegs. Jim West up forward. They go short to the Redlegs. Troy Clements with the ball. Central Districts have fought back courageously after looking out of it at 3/4 time. Just updating that McCormack and Downsborough for Norwood are off with leg injuries as Eastor sends the ball forward. Underneath Arnold. Into the front. Nice work there.
Tyson.
By Tyson. His left foot kicked forward. Malloy comes out strongly. Good work there by Lee. Nice handball under pressure. Again, the Bulldogs out of trouble. What a great game by this young fella, Benjamin Walton. From half-back, kicks long. Central Districts. Now, coming through the pack was Saywell. Neither side willing to give an inch, and Jarman momentarily, his pass wasn't, or didn't find the mark, as he's opened up the door and has Hicks interfered with. No play on the call, a kick around the body, and Fleming's in the way.
Bassett bounces away, claimed, gets away the handball. Pitt, who started on the interchange bench, had a year with Collingwood and played pretty well, almost ended up at Footscray or the Western Bulldogs this year. And Harvey, the younger brother of Brownlow medalist Robert Harvey, pushes it towards the grandstand wing. James, Obst, now there is an injury cloud over Obst. Is he fully fit? We asked a rhetorical question. And Davey, playing very good football from defence, pushes it into the midfield. Stewie Jew, wider still, Hereda. Look at Steinburner, he's got space. Around the corner goes the kick. Steinburner runs onto it, but coming hard at it was Eastor and Arnold. Now Tyson evades the tackle, gives it off to Jarman. He needs to hit the target. The ball wobbles forward. It was a difficult one for West. He was good enough. West evades the tackle from Daniel, feeds it in ball. Tyson running hard and keeping coming. Cook, 55 out, goes for the goals. It's swinging back, but not quite enough. It's a point. So the Redlegs bring it back to a 10. It's out of bounds on the full. I was going to say a 10-point ball game, but it's only 9 points.
He's not too happy. It's Coach Peter Rowe.
Pascoe now for Norwood.
They're pretty good.
He's been very good since coming under the ground, hasn't he? You get the feeling that Norwood need to goal. After looking home and hose. Pascoe to the top of the square. Hereda, big punch. McIntosh. This is a big play for the Redlegs. A kick around the body, again offline. Coach Peter Rowe would be ripping his hair out as Anthony Harvey failed to convert a difficult shot. Granted.
Now, if you could lip read there, you'll know what the coach is thinking.
James West from the sideline, under pressure. Walton kicks towards touch. First there is Dew. On his hammer, Tyson. Dew gains valuable meterage.
Yeah, good work, a good kick there by Ben Walton again, under a fair bit of pressure, just got it across over the top. Stewie Dew running onto it, but Stephen Wright biting his fingernails. And I'll tell you, I can't blame him.
Nathan Steinburn has got the job on Jarman. So Stevie Wright recognising that Jarman is the man who can really turn this game. As Cunningham flicks out a handball, forward it goes. It finds Jarman, who pushes it further afield with the handball to McIntosh. Macca hurries a kick into space. Schwert, who was so dominant in the first quarter from half back for the Bulldogs, goes towards the boundary line, and the umpire lets him get away with it this time. So we're 15 minutes in. We've got a 9-point ball game. It's set up beautifully, isn't it? And if you think you had a hangover from last night, after the Crows' magnificent win over St Kilda, well, I think there might be a few Bulldog fans who'll have another one tonight if they happen to get up here, because they will pull off an improbable victory. But they've got to get over a determined Redlegs outfit first, and the Redlegs have been the best side throughout the year. Steinburner, rare mistake. Roger James gathers it. Cook, who kicked out of bounds on the 4 moments ago, goes towards James West, and West, he's got it! Oh, the top full forward of the year takes the biggest mark of the season. And he needs to kick this.
You've got to feel, fellas, for Nathan Steinberg charging out of the back line. The legs going quicker than what the hands were. We see Jim West just, he's kicked the ball back and he's found his captain in Gary McIntosh. I do feel for Nathan Steinberg.
Well, you've got to back yourself in, and he'll feel that one, but you wouldn't change the way he plays the game for Quids, because had he gone forward, there were spaces opening, and it might well have been just part of the comeback. But Macca, the skipper, gets a chance to steady the ship. They lead by 9. A goal here takes him to 15 points and makes it so much harder for the Bulldogs. Right in the square, Westie's in the front position. 2 hands to the ball, but spills it and across the line for a point.
10-point ball game.
Well, fingers crossed.
I think your legs might be crossed as well, and maybe your toes.
Scotty Lee kicking with the aid of a strong breeze are the Central District side. Schwern under pressure to Swatala. He's been good this year. Lockwood with space, waits on the ball, and he's met heavily by Harvey. He'll get up, Will Lockwood.
Yeah, well done there by Lockwood. It's taken by Harvey. Harvey had intentions to hit the football, had to take the body with it. I'm sure he's not feeling the best, as you can see in the screen. And may have to come off. He doesn't want to. Stevie Sweat will take the kick.
Coffey warming up on the boundary line as Schwert pushes it forward. Lewis sets himself, loose ball falls. Obster almost playing play on, said the umpire. Now the advantage allowed to fly as McIntosh back to Harvey. Oh, it doesn't sit nicely for him. Daniels strips it away, gets a kick forward. Into space it goes. Cook is there and Dan Tokia. That's an arm wrestle for sure, those two. Going to ground with the ball and a bounce.
Another player coming off. One good sign is Cunningham limping on his left leg as Lachlan Bowman comes back onto the ground. Also, Bowen Lockwood's coming off as well. And number 2, which is Grant Coffey, will come on to replace him.
Ball bounced down, Bulldogs are getting into attack. Dan Tokia tries to work his way through a pack. Lockwood coming off of the Bulldogs. Well, the Norwood bench is bare. Downs, McCormack and Cunningham all injured. The Bulldogs, Steinburner! A quick kick forward. He'll be first there. It'll be Davey, and he'll be taken over the line. Well, that's... I was about to say silly, but a boundary throw-in will be paid.
Davey has been at every important contest when they've needed him. in the second half. And he's had a few mates too. Dantoki has fought hard, although he has had 2 goals kicked on him, Jerry, in this final quarter. Harvey tries to thump one out. Lures again, an important touch. Steinburner dragged off the ball. Jars needs to feed it or hold it. He decides to hold it.
No left leg. It should have been just a reaction from Steinburner. He's been straight onto the left boot. Unfortunately, he's not that strong on that side of his body.
Well, Lewis was the man who got the flip out again. It would have been the 3rd important touch. Norwood by 10 points. We're 19 and a half minutes into the final quarter. As Coffey recalled into ruck, dumps it down. Fleming claimed by Lewis. Lewis has been solid too, Rob. He's done some bullocking work. The little 1%ers that have gone unnoticed.
They have, but Tim Cook has noticed them on 2 occasions this quarter. Steve Wright searching for an answer.
We're just looking at the Norwood forward line at the moment. They've also got Pascoe over 6 foot, Malloy over 6 foot. They've got Bowman over 6 foot and West over 6 foot. Very top heavy.
Again, the Bulldogs working hard. Norwood desperate to keep the Bulldogs out. Jarman to out of centre wing.
We might mention that Norwood have got a few good players in their reserves. O'Brien, Harvey, Toomey are there. Brett James can come back in if Norwood get through to the grand final as well. And they've got Kelly out in the reserves as well. So they've got, and Rowe. We forgot about Stephen Rowe, who played in the reserves today. So regardless, as long as they can win today, they've got some quality players to come in.
McIntosh to Tyson. Has a bounce, draws a player over the top. He's got a runner. Good work there. The Red Legs, can they seal it? In fact, it was Bowman underneath it offline. So 11 points the margin.
Nearly the 30-minute mark of this last quarter. A goal was required by the Bulldogs. You see Lee play onto himself.
2 goals required by the Bulldogs to win, and they need to keep Norwood scoreless. Cook taken high, free kick, no question, and maybe a 25. Oh, what a critical one that is. Stevie Wright would be pulling his hair out. Unbelievable.
You just see this, taken high there first. The play was only... Again, I believe they were committed. Maybe a bit too early there.
Well, what an important 25-metre penalty. Cook, who was 55 out, had no chance of making the distance. Now well within his distance. And today, he's kicked 1 goal already. That one touched on the line or not? Did it get through?
It's through.
Oh, it's through. The goal umpire says it's a goal. The Redlegs rise. We're 22 minutes into the final quarter, and I don't think the Bulldogs can get back from here. We'll have a Norwood Port grand final. Another classic clash. Grand final day 97.
You see there, Cook taken high the first one. Wanted to go onward. Players were still playing. Maybe the whistle was called, but as you said, Dave Mackay, I think Norwood are home now.
Sergei Cook with 2 goals, and that is the one that puts it out of reach of the Bulldogs. What heartbreak for Stevie Wright and his crew. But Norwood have been the best side throughout the year, and perhaps it's fitting that they take on Port Adelaide, who have been the best side in the last 10 years. Davey, who's been extraordinary. Look at the working around. It was Esau thumping it back to Dantoki, and now it's Pascoe. So their big men have been dominant today. Pascoe's been very good since he's come off the bench. Arnold has not really had any influence on Pascoe. And now James, claimed by Lee. McIntosh looking to feed it wide. Ducks his head, that's holding the ball. No question about that. Well, what a transcript this has been. If you could have written the story, they were 12 points down the Redlegs at quarter time. Scores were dead level at half-time. And if you've just joined us, the Redlegs were 27 points clear at three-quarter time when suddenly, miraculously, the Bulldogs made a surge. And they got back within 9 points. Pitt around the corner. Switala, what a young gun this fellow is. Already enrolled at the AFL Talent Camp in October. Pushes it wide to Cotton, who's had a dirty day. 9 kicks, 2 handballs. And Switala's marker duty.
Yeah, just going back with the fly of the football. It really was a tremendous grab. A good mark, but they need a goal. They need it now. Time is running out. as we're coming on to the 24-minute mark this last quarter.
On to the question, Mark. Who would Port Adelaide prefer to have played, do you think? Does it worry them?
I think they would prefer to play the Bulldogs, considering Norwood has been the best side all year. And as you said before, a classic grand final play between Port and Norwood. We've seen it before. We've got to see one again next weekend.
Daniel out the Schwert. Through the midfield. A high ball towards full forward. It's the last hurrah, you suspect, and it's a mark. And paid by the umpire. It's Hicks, who's kicked 3 goals, 2 already in this match.
Exciting player is young Hicks.
Statsman's got him listed as 3-1. I've got him down for 3-2. We'll perhaps agree to disagree on that one.
I've got him 3-1 as well.
All right, well, let's go with 3-1. I'll bow to the greater pressure. And this is a very important kick. We're 25 minutes into the final term. The margin is 27 points. You don't possibly think they can get back here, but, well, funnier things have happened.
It has to be a minimum at least 3 minutes of time on football still remaining in this quarter. But what a terrific grab by Hicks, set up by Schwert, running through the midfield, pops the ball high in the air. He had the front position to Fleming, but Hicks with a better judgment, maybe a little bit more reach as well, takes one grab in the second and goes back and kicks his 4th goal for the afternoon, and really hasn't been the worst player out there.
21 points to margin. The Bulldogs need 4 goals in 4 minutes if they're to win and go through to the grand final. The Redlegs need to defend their position. Eastor, who's been sensational, thumps it down. Jarman had the kick smothered. Sujai Cook couldn't get there, but getting away one out of the midfield. Oh, Obbs taken high, and the umpires picked it up. It's a free kick.
Now, you can't tell me there's no difference between this incident. He's taken high, the ball's being played on, as you can see by Smatala. Now, why isn't there 25 metres there? There's no consistency.
Okay. And look at the mark to Pascoe. So it's an 11-point ball game. I think I said it was 21 a moment ago. It's 11 points. The maths is terrible. The excitement is high. So let's set it up for you properly. It's an 11-point ball game, and 2 goals in the last 2 minutes can win it for the Bulldogs.
Well, we spoke about the crowd here this afternoon. You can hear them in the background. They're both chanting for both their clubs. They're supporting them. We just heard there's been 10,589 people have gone through the turnstiles as Norwood lead by 11 points at a 26.5-minute mark of this last quarter.
11 points, but it's in the Redlegs forward zone. The ball comes thumped down. Scotty Lee, the oldest man on the field, pushes it around the corner. Davey misses it. Swatala through traffic. McIntosh dives on top of it, gathers out the ball and holds it. So they're playing for time at 27 minutes into the final quarter. They're not going to lose a cliffhanger, the Redlegs, again like they did last year against Port Adelaide. And who could forget that? The Redlegs deemed they were robbed. They reckon if they had got through the grand final, they were certainties. And Port Adelaide history will tell us went on to win that one. Arnold dumps it down. Geister after it, back from North Melbourne this year. Can he really side forward? Dan Tokier on top of that one. Swatala feeds it out to Walton. One step and dumps it into space. Lewis, who's been very good at centre forward, comes at it. That's a deliberate one. What's the umpire say? Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I really have to agree with you there, David. Pitt just stuttling the ball straight to the boundary line, and pretty obvious, and should have been picked up.
Well, you couldn't have blamed the umpire if he'd have paid that, could you? I think Norwood fans heaved a sigh of relief as Davey pushes it towards the boundary line. I like his last half too.
The time is running out. We said 11-point margin. 2 goals need to be kicked. I think Norwood are pretty safe to get home from here.
Eastor in ruck, dumps it down. 57 is Walton over the top of the ball. 28 minutes, 17 seconds gone. Time running out. The lifeblood running out of the Bulldogs. And Stevie Wright, I think, knows it from here. I think the most optimistic coach could expect him to win from here. Players congregate. Thump forward. It was Pascoe. Towards the line, James just there. Holm paddles it forward. Walton, a little grubber forward. Sujai Cook just inside the line. Oh, again, plays the line and quite content to see it finish there.
I think you need a full court press at the stage of the game. Every player in a red, white and blue jumper need to be forward of the centre if they're going to kick a goal to give them some chance and some time to be able to win this game.
Eastern dumps it down. Swatala got it from Steinberg. Now, an opportunity for Conway. Look at the defensive work of the Redlegs.
The chance there for Conway, just couldn't. The big fella just couldn't get the ball moving back towards his goal and had no support from players running on either. Norwood just quite content again to hold the ball down. We'll see the umpire will come in and ball it up.
So at the bounce, Eastor again. He's been sensational. Saywell it was who thumps it towards his own goal mouth. Cotton tries to flip it out, gets it off to Geister, down from defence. Harvey thumps it wide. Cook, first man, he's already got a couple. McIntosh claims him. He goes to ground. Walton and Davey collide, and the ball again across the line. We're 30 minutes into the final quarter of the preliminary final. It's an 11-point ball game. And the Redlegs, do they dare? The 1997 grand final is seconds away. They'll meet Port Adelaide, we already know that, and Pitt again towards the boundary line.
Yeah, Pitt's come on, he's had a couple of chances to come on. He played full forward for a while there in the third quarter. He's come on now into the back line. It really has. He's been very big, very, very mobile. It's good for Rowe to be able to, luxury of being able to play either up forward or towards the back. You see McIntosh going for the boundary line. Just assisted there also by James. And the 30-minute mark this last quarter. There can only be moments left. The Norwood supporters are happy. They've got smiles on their faces.
The Redlegs lost the second semi-final to Port Adelaide by 22 points. They only kicked 10 goals in that match, 10 goals, 16. Scotty Lee, will he play on next year? We certainly hope so. Bundled off as he kicks the ball, and it was McIntosh who just applied that infinite pressure. Simon Esau, the best ruckman on the ground, pushes along. Pascoe, spoiled from behind by Arnold. Now it's Macca who's recovered. Oh, kicks it towards the boundary line. And it's all over. The preliminary final is won by the Redlegs. They win it by 11 points. They're led by Gary McIntosh, who takes them into a grand final. The 33-year-old veteran, dual Magarey medalist, now gets an opportunity of captaining the Redlegs as they take a tilt at Port Adelaide in next week's grand final. So join us then for the big one, the 1997 grand final. Port Adelaide and Norwood. The final margin here, 11 points in favour of the Redlegs. They're through to the grand final. It's Port and Norwood in a big one. Good night from Football Park. See you next week.